Hello everyone. Hello. I have already filmed this video once before and I really wanted to be holding like my little Rode mic. It's much easier. I can kind of lean back and move around when I want, but the audio is not working for me, and even though it might not bother you guys, it was bothering me, and it also was really bad lighting and the quality was really bad because I filmed at night and I filmed with the camera even further than this away. It's a whole thing. We're redoing the video and I think it'll be better because I went back in and I've looked up some of these games because I realized when I was filming that I kind of had forgotten part of the games, and I did look them all up beforehand just to refresh my memory, but like while I was filming I realized I didn't remember as much as I wanted. So I definitely remember some of the years that these games started and ended now, and I think in general it'll be better this go around, especially since the lighting is better but still not good. I'm using natural light. It's kind of gloomy out and the sun will set soon, but my house lighting is not good. The lights are more yellowish and I don't have like a ring light or anything yet, so we're gonna do a tier list. I have 13 games that I remember playing that really stuck out to me. I know I played more games than this. I played really like small flash games I would find off sketchy websites, but I can't remember a lot of those like smaller games. I'm not sure what to call these. I think they're all flash games. I don't know if I could call them computer games or PC games. I still don't know what is the difference between a computer and a PC. I'm not a gamer, okay? Is PC just, from what I looked up, PC is like for personal use, like a laptop, but is a computer not also a laptop? Or am I crazy? Yes. Adobe Flash ended in 2020, so some of these games ended before Adobe Flash shut down, and some of them still exist, but obviously they had to like rethink things. And please, if you are knowledgeable on tech and you know about like computer softwares and Adobe Flash, please comment below. I will pin your comment because I don't really understand it even after looking into it. So all of these games I think are flash games, besides, well, maybe one of them, but I guess that's the software all these games ran on. And so when it shut down in 2020, which I think the main reason was like safety concerns, like it wasn't very secure, something like that. And so when that shut down, some of these games were in jeopardy, and I think the ones that still exist, like Animal Jam, I think they had to like change the format, or I don't know how that works. I don't know what it meant to be on Adobe Flash, and I don't know the process of like switching that over. I've heard people talk about like desktop, like, oh, it switched over to desktop, but when I hear desktop I just think of like the computer screen. So if you know more about that and can explain it to someone like me who is not smart with technology, that would be great. So most of these games are from the 2000s, the mid 2000s, the late 2000s, and I think only one of them came out in 2010. So for the sake of this video, most of these are 2000s games, and a lot of them lasted until like the early 2010s, some of them the late 2010s. And yeah, we're just gonna rank it either S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and then it goes to F tier, right? I think. These are in no particular order, and this is not like a video essay. I'm not going to go into a deep dive and like the history of each game. This is from like my knowledge and from the little knowledge that I gained from like researching these games up, just so I could refresh my memory because my memory's bad. Okay, so first that I have written down is Club Penguin. Now we're starting strong, and I'm gonna give it an immediate S tier before even getting into it, because this was the game I probably played the most, other than Animal Jam, which we'll talk about next. But Club Penguin, it was the place to be, okay? I think it was created in 2005, which that's 20 years ago. That's 20 years ago. And then Disney bought it in 2007. So Club Penguin must have been super popular right away for Disney to recognize it and buy it. I think they bought it for like hundreds of millions of dollars too. So Disney acquired it really early on, because Club Penguin, I believe, shut down in 2017 or 2018. And so Disney had Club Penguin for a decade. I must have played it, let's see, I was born in 2003. So I did not play it before Disney bought it, but my older brother played it. And so I never had my own character. I would just play with his character, and I remember the name. It was Binizzle. Binizle. I don't know what it means still. I still remember the password to that account, and I'm not gonna tell you. That's for me. That's for me and me only. Well, that's for me and all my siblings, because we would use the family computer, which I need that to be brought back. I do think technology is kind of destroying us all, especially the youth. I think little children having phones and even iPads is a horrible idea. When I see a parent get their 3-year-old an iPad, I die a little bit inside. Now, right now, my son is watching a movie off of my laptop. He's watching Elmo, okay? But I will never buy him an iPad, and I'm deciding when should I even get him a phone. But nowadays, everyone has a little screen in front of them. And when I was young, we did have iPods, and I shouldn't have been given an iPod, because it was just like a phone. I had access to everything. So I'm not even saying that was right, because I think I was 11 when I got an iPod. Maybe I was 10, I don't remember, but we had our family computer before I had gotten the iPod, and I need that to come back, because if we went back to having family computers, I think life would be restored. I think things would start to become good again. Although, were things ever good? No, they weren't. But in my head, it's an illusion in my head. But I think things would become simpler, because we would share. We would all sit around. I'm going to show you a picture right now. We would sit around this thing, and we would all watch each other play, and we would all take turns. And I had 6 siblings, so it really taught patience. And I know my son's an only child, so I know there's only children out there, but still, having like the family computer where even the parents could work on it, I don't know, there's something so 2000's about that. So Club Penguin, my brother would play it eventually, probably when I was like 7. I don't know when I started on the internet, but maybe when I was around 7 I started to play. And I do remember that there was a lot of like Disney themed things. I remember when Frozen came out, I think they had incorporated Frozen into Club Penguin. So Club Penguin was very big. They'd have lots of events, so whether it was like Disney based or Halloween, they had like Halloween events and Christmas events. So the world would change. All the little I don't know what you would call it, the maps, the different maps would change based on the holidays and based on events. And I think there were quests you could do. Maybe there was like little scavenger hunt things, but it wasn't like a RuneScape type game where you're like trying to solve a quest. And I don't even know, because RuneScape was also before my time. Like, my brother would play that, and I would watch him play it, I think on the family computer. So it was more based on the little games inside of it, and it's really cool because I believe Club Penguin was a flash game, but then it had like little mini games inside of it, which is how Animal Jam was. Okay, wow, there's birds chirping, there's dogs barking. I'm gonna keep going. I'm sorry. There's always these dogs. So Club Penguin had so many good games. That's what made it so playable, is the games were actually good. So they had so many, all of which I played. Like, I loved all of the games. There was the coffee shop one, so basically when you come into the certain like map, so there was like a, what was it? There was like a club with like a disco floor. There was a coffee shop, and when you went to the coffee shop, there was a game. You'd click on it, and you would have to throw like bags of coffee over your shoulder, I think, and like stack up high. There was also the tubing game. That one is really ingrained in my memory, where you could play with other people, I believe, that just entered randomly into the game as well. And yeah, you would just sled down a sled hill. There was the grappler game, where you're in like a submarine and you're grabbing pearls out of, is it an oyster or is it a clam? An oyster's mouth? You're grabbing pearls out of the clam's mouth, or whatever it is, and you have to collect them all. There was the pizza game. The pizza game I really remember too. I remember having to do the different orders, and that's so fun because those games were really popular, especially on Cool Math Games, and I'll talk about that later down the list. But there was like the cooking games where you're the chef. It's really just clicking. You're clicking on stuff, and it's about being fast and like having coordination. So you gotta click on the right thing, click the burger, put it in the burger bun, and then serve it to the customer. So Club Penguin had like that inside of the Club Penguin world, and it was the pizza game where you had to like click on the different toppings and sauces, I think. And what's the other game? The fish game, which I would sit there probably for a good hour playing this game, where, and probably all my siblings sitting around me, you would catch fish. You would try not to catch like boots and stuff, and at the very end, because you can complete the game, a big fish comes. But I think I had the problem of, you would put all the fish stacked up next to you on the ice, and you're fishing through like the circle of ice, and if you accidentally catch the last fish and you put it in your pile, when you put your empty hook down, the big fish doesn't want to catch it. And so I think I might have had to look online for like a playthrough, and basically you have to keep the last fish underneath the ice so that the big fish is like lured in. And it's a fun ending because the big fish grabs onto the little fish and you pull the big fish through the ice. And people expected that to happen with the iceberg. If you know, you know. Everyone would go to this one island where there's this iceberg. It was kind of like Fortnite, because you could do like little dances and emotes, and you could have like a jackhammer, is that what it's called, and like random little things like that. So people would get the jackhammer out when they were on the iceberg, and they would try and like drill through the ice. People would tell everyone to come, like, let's try and tip the iceberg, and it never worked up until the end, which I think when the game ended, they gave that to the fans. I don't know if it happened like right before they shut it down completely, or how that ending day looked, but they did, if I remember correctly, they did flip it over, and I can't remember what happened. I'll have to show a picture or like a little video if someone had filmed it, because I think that's really cool how they finally gave that to the fans. And I think that was the really cool thing about this game, is there's all these mini games inside. You can chat with real people. Obviously grooming probably happened, even though like so many words were banned if they were even remotely close to inappropriate. I mean, that happens on every single app. It happens on Roblox and things like that. So you could chat with people, play these games, and you could have your own igloo, which you could have Puffles, and that was the little pet. You could adopt Puffles, but I think if you didn't have a membership, you could only get 2 colors, like the red or the blue. I might be pulling that out of my ass, but I think I think that is correct, and it's similar to Animal Jam. If you had the membership and you bought like items, or maybe if you had like rare items, or if you bought like an upgraded igloo, because your igloo was really small, unless you had the membership you could get a bigger igloo. So anything you got with the membership would go away once you didn't have the membership, which is really annoying. It might be where it like kind of went into an inventory, because I was reading about Animal Jam, how you wouldn't lose everything, but in order to have access to it you would need to have a membership. So you don't have access to it unless you're paying them money, which is annoying, but I think they still let you decorate the igloo and have like 1 or 2 puffles if you didn't pay, but it was more limited. But there was so many other things you could do. But yeah, Club Penguin is no more. People have recreated it. There's a lot of games like that, some of which I'm going to talk about, where there was a really big following to the game, and so fans, they band together to recreate it. I don't even know how you do something like that. I remember watching a deep dive on Club Penguin, and there was all this drama. I don't know if there was cease and desist type things, but there was like grooming happening between like the main like moderators or like creators. Yeah, there was like some weird stuff going on, so I don't know anything about that. If you want to go watch a deep dive on that, go watch a deep dive. But it's still getting an S tier because I played that game so much. And there was so many new things too during the holidays, and I think there was like secret, like special rare stuff, like you could find stuff in catalogs. Again, I think you had to be a member to get most of the cool stuff, but it was fun to kind of find the Easter eggs, or to cheat and go on YouTube and watch other people find the cool stuff, and then you would go copy that. That's exactly how I played Poptropica, which we'll also talk about. Hello everyone, this is Editing Hallie, coming back without the Blue Yeti because that mic broke. Hopefully this one's working. It's got this on and off electronic humming noise. I don't know if it's my cord or if the Rode mics just suck. Either way, I'm here to bring up the games that I forgot to mention really quick, because how did I forget these? First off, Card Jitsu. Hello, you face off with someone. It's kind of like a card game. You each pick cards, and I'll be so honest, I don't think I knew how to play this. I think I would just tap whatever card there was, and I would watch whatever graphics would play. So there's cards with, different numbers on it, and I'm sure the card with the higher number in the end would win, but then there's also elements on there, so I still don't know how this game is played. But if there was like a snowflake on the card and you won, I think it would dump a bunch of snow on the person or something like that. I'm sure I'll find an old graphic. You could also work your way up from a white belt to a black belt. Like, it was such a cool game. I was definitely playing that for hours on end, and I probably still never figured out how it was actually played. I'm not sure what belt I got to. I'm not sure, but I think that's really cool how not only is it like a fun interactive card game, but then you can also, rank your way up. And then there were all the puffle games. So the puffle launch, which is in the sky, where you shoot your puffle up in the sky through different obstacles. How did I forget that? I would be playing that game as well. And there was also Puffle Rescue, and I think they had different kinds. There was an underwater one where you're swimming underwater to save the puffles, but I also remember the ice one where you're jumping on ice blocks trying not to fall in the water, I think. So I can't believe I forgot that, but I looked up some pictures and I was like, oh my god, because there was just so many games. I'm still sure there's more that I'm not mentioning that I loved. Lastly, one that I definitely loved is the Cart Surfer, where you're little penguins in the cart, and I think you can click like different actions, so you can like get out of the cart and hold it above your head and like run and waddle down the mine shaft. You can also like do tricks and like hit bumps in the track. I think it might even give you points based on like the tricks you do. I think that was the goal of the game, is like to do fun tricks. I think there was even a surf game where you would ride on the waves. They had everything, whatever you were into, whatever sport you liked, they had it all. They had it all. They had Kart Surfer, but they also had a surfing game. They had a sledding game with a tube, but then they also had tubing with a boat. So, again, Club Penguin is unmatched. It's still in that S tier, and we're going to go back to myself before. And the next is Animal Jam, which is very similar in nature. You get to talk with other people, even if the chat's limited. I remember meeting like online friends there and telling them like, I'll see you at 3 p.m. tomorrow after school, and going to each other's dens. There was definitely weird boyfriend-girlfriend situations happening on these games. Animal Jam was similar, where you could have a membership, so you'd lose a lot of your stuff if you didn't have the membership, or it would get put away until later. This one, I'm gonna give an A tier because it just isn't as iconic as Club Penguin. Animal Jam might have come out in 2010, right? Did it? You could customize your animal. Now, if you wanted the cool animals, you'd have to get a membership. So if you didn't have a membership, I think you only had, or could you only be the wolf? Or could you choose between a couple other ones? I don't know, but I just remember I had the wolf. I think I would put stars on the wolf, because you could put different patterns and then different colors. Like I think you could make it like purple. So that was really fun. But the games just weren't as fun. Like there was like a trivia type game where you could actually play with real people. There was this like desert game where you'd throw like a, what was it? Like a armadillo. You'd like catapult an armadillo and see how far it could go. But that's, I mean, there's not much to that. Like you would just try and see how far you could get it, and I feel like it was kind of random. I did like playing the claw machine. The claw machine, I would try and get all the rare plushies. My den was basically all plushies, because when you were poor and you didn't have the membership, like your den would be full of plushies because you didn't have all the cool furniture, and you would have the standard den. I don't know if at some point I had a Club Penguin or Animal Jam membership. Maybe for like Christmas we got surprised with it, but of course we'd probably all share. So yeah, I think it gets an A tier just because it was kind of more boring. You would kind of get bored of the games, and I don't know, the maps, I feel like they were darker, like lots of muted colors. I don't know, something about Club Penguin was just very bright and inviting. I remember the hot chocolate game. It's not even a game. There's one world where you can go into this little like shop or something, and you can click on this game and you can customize a hot chocolate, and then I think once you finish, the hot chocolate is like hovering next to your character, and then eventually it goes away, I think, which, you know, that's how I feel about Animal Jam. It was just not Club Penguin, you know. And I think I played that more recently, so they either like rebuilt it, or however they went from the Adobe Flash to whatever it is current day. They didn't change much, if anything. I don't know if they changed anything. I don't know if there's like an app, because some of these games have gone into apps. And the next one would be Webkinz. This is going to be very brief because I don't remember shit about this. This also was, I think, near the Club Penguin era, where I think I was just really little, so I don't remember. And there were stuffed animals, Webkinz stuffed animals you could buy at stores. And I think they had special codes that you would then go home and plug in online to play the game. And I can't remember if you had to buy an animal in order to play the game. Like, I'm not sure if you could just log on and like just have an animal. and I'm not sure if the animal that you bought would like translate into online. So like if you bought a monkey, you would be a monkey. I do remember we did have multiple Webkinz, but I think my brother was more into that, one of my brothers. And the funny thing about the Webkinz is a lot of them were such horrible quality. Like instead of this, which most stuffed animals are polyester, this is soft, you know, and nice. But the Webkinz were like, you could tell it was plastic. Like it was like the most plasticky fibers that almost, I think, were like metallic or something. They looked rough, like they looked old when you bought them. Like they looked like they have been through some things. And I remember we had a polar bear or something like that. So I think I did use one of those codes once and I logged in, but something happened where I forgot it, or you know, something happened where I couldn't log back on, and I don't know exactly how that worked. Like if you got multiple animals. So if you were a Webkinz kid, let me know, and while I'm editing this, this is gonna take a lot of editing because I'm gonna be putting in photos and things. I'll probably like put some text in or some photos. I feel like I remember doing the house. I don't know what there was to this game. I don't know if it was like Club Penguin where you would go out and talk to people, but I just remember being in my home and like rearranging things as if it were The Sims. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I feel like there's part of that game in particular that I feel like is trying to come out from the deepest depths of my brain, but I just can't seem to grasp onto that memory. So I'll have to look through some photos, and if I find it, like, I'll know exactly what that memory was. But I think we're gonna have to give it a C tier because I don't remember much and it wasn't that impactful to me. So I'm sorry if you were a Webkinz kid. I don't know how many times I played it. Maybe 2. I don't know. It might have been more. The next game I have written down is Bloons Tower Defense, which I think they have 6 different versions now. So they have a version that you can play right now. But again, this was like a flash game. So the original one, I think I played the original one. It was much lower quality, very simple. Maybe I played the second version. I'm not sure like all the differences between all the versions, but this game is not like Club Penguin where you like can talk to people. It was like a simple flash game where there's like monkeys that are shooting like bullets and like torpedoes at balloons, and you try and pop all the balloons before they reach the end of whatever. I don't I'll show pictures, but it's pretty simple. I just remember playing it and getting like really into it, but then also I probably like crashed out a lot. So I think I'm gonna give it a B tier. I definitely think it got me through school. In elementary school, we had access to laptops during like the typing time where we would learn to type. But I think even in elementary school and in middle school, we would get the laptops. Like you'd have a special day where you'd get laptops assigned to your classroom so that you could do like your essays. And whenever we finished, or like even if we didn't finish, I remember playing games, and I probably played that game. I don't know when that ended. I'm assuming it stayed steady until Adobe Flash crashed, but I'm sure they already had a plan for that because, like I said, it's still alive and well today. I'm not sure if you can play the original versions or if you can only play the later version, but it was just a simple game. There was balloons, there was monkeys. It brings back good memories, so not a bad game, but it ain't Club Penguin. So next up is Fancy Pants or Fancy Pants Adventures. This one is like Bloons because it also has multiple versions. I don't know if there's 3 versions or more. This one I think also is in the App Store as an app, but I believe you can play it on desktop. Well, I know you can because I think I played it in my ASMR video. I did like a nostalgic sleepover video where I play like old computer games, and I think I played that one. So that one's still alive and well. This one is it's cooler. It's cooler than Bloons because I feel like there's more world building, like the camera goes with you, so you have a stick figure guy, I think in like some orange shorts or something, and I think he has spiky hair or something, and you're going through this world, you're stomping on these spider creatures, you're trying to, I think, get to the end. I don't exactly know how each like level works, but there's different levels, and instead of Bloons where I think the camera is just, it's just one view, the camera doesn't move, Fancy Pants moves with you. I mean, just like Animal Jam or Club Penguin, but it really is like a video game. I love the music. I remember the music of this game. I'll have to play like a little snippet. I remember playing this one with my sister. There were spiders, you would like stomp on them. There might have been something with golf where maybe there were certain levels where you hit a golf ball. I might be so wrong on that. Very simple, but I still really appreciate it, and whoever worked on that game, it's still really cool, because you kind of just slide around on these lines because you're a stick figure. It looks kind of, I think it looks like a drawing, kind of like a notebook. Did I give Webkinz a C? I'll give it a B. Because it's too simple to be in the A tier, but B tier is still good, so I'll give it a B tier. The next one is Barbie Snip and Style Salon. This is one of those smaller flash games that there was an abundance of. Like, I definitely played a bunch of little games. A bunch. I remember there was like, I swear there was like this Jello cube game, or maybe there was like lava involved. I don't know. I remember playing this one game. I don't know if it was called Slime something or what, but I was probably like 9 or 10. And I remember being so obsessed with this one flash game, and I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was called. Hello everyone, it's Editing Hallie yet again, and I need to take a moment to pause this video to show you this masterpiece of a game. I cannot believe I found this. I keep taking a million breaks while editing to find cool pictures and look at like old wiki pages of these games, and I needed to find this game, and I kid you not, I found this by searching 2010's flash games with green Jello cubes arranged in a square. Yeah, somehow I found this game that's not even remotely close to what it actually is, and the game is called Square Meal. Square Meal. I would have never guessed that, and I'm assuming I was remembering the like green jelly cubes that the monsters would eat, but I also might have been confused by the actual green monster itself. I don't know where I was pulling lava from. I don't think there's any lava in that game, but this brings me so much joy, and I just had to chime in, and this is exactly how it felt to find Pet Park, because I've searched for this game for years. So there's definitely a lot that I don't remember. This one I include because my cousin and I, we have talked about this game. We might have played it together, but it's just like a simple Barbie game where it's like her head and you're shampooing her hair. I think you can color it fun colors, and you can cut it and crimp it, and I feel like it's just a staple of girlhood, playing a game like that. And I think they had it around in the 90s or something, because when I looked this game up, there was an earlier version. It seemed like, I think it was the same name, because it kind of looked like an older 90s Barbie, but the one I'm thinking of is like very 2010's Barbie. There might have been different versions of that as well. Did I rate that? I think we'll give it a C, just because it's a really simple flash game. It's kind of, okay, you might be mad at me if you're a Webkinz kid, because I put the Barbie Snip and Style Salon at the same level as Webkinz, which Webkinz was probably way more in depth. Well, I know it was, but this is my rating. I'm sorry, I don't have good memory of Webkinz, and I know that this game, it wasn't bad. It's not deserving of a D tier because it still was a staple of my childhood. But next up is Fantage. I think that's how you say it. Fantage. This one, it was like a wannabe, I don't know, not Poptropica. It was one of those social games. You could talk to people. I really don't know what else you could do. I don't think there was quests. Maybe there was, but I remember the like poster. I remember the loading screen with like the world and all the people and like the logo. And I feel like that brings better memories than actually playing the game. I think I was obsessed with it for like a little bit, maybe like 2 weeks. I don't know when it came out. Maybe in 2008. So I would have been so little anyway. I don't remember when I found this game, but you know, it was alright. It was alright. I think that it was maybe made for like older kids, like for teens. And I just don't remember a lot about this, and I don't think there was a lot to it. And this game also shut down. I think there still is a dedicated fan base for Fantage. They might have recreated it as well. I think I'm going to put it in D tier, just because I remember not liking this or not understanding it at the time. Like, I feel like at the time I didn't really know what was going on. Alright, my phone died. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 more. And I don't have much percentage left in my phone, and the sun is going down. I'm gonna speed this up, okay? So we ended with Fantage. Next is Poptropica, which I know that has a pretty dedicated following, and it is still up today. I think at Cool Math Games, which is really random. So it might be slightly different because, again, when the Adobe Flash ended, I think a lot of things changed. And did you know that Poptropica was created by the guy who wrote Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Jeff Kinney. Yeah, he created that in 2007, which I had no idea until now. This was a quest-based game, so I did not vibe with this game. There was no way to actually like chat with people other than in the common rooms, which you had generated answers. Like, you could only choose from a couple questions and then a couple answers. So it was to make it safe, which I guess is good, but yeah, it wasn't really personalized. And yeah, it kind of is like a lot of video games where there's all these different worlds. You pick which one you want to do, and you gotta go through this long, play by play playthrough. You just gotta do everything right and solve the mystery or whatever. I remember playing 24 Carat Island or something with the bunny, the scary bunny looking thing, and I didn't know how to do any of this. I think I was too little, because you had to be smart, okay? And I would just watch the YouTube playthroughs or walkthroughs, and I would just copy what they did. And so for me, this wasn't very fun, and my sisters liked this more. They were way more into this than me. And yeah, I'm gonna give it, I might have to give it a D tier because I don't like it. I'm gonna give it a D tier because it wasn't for me. I have memories of it, like it's nostalgic for sure, but I just remember being so frustrated with this game, and I like Club Penguin much better. Okay, so next is Papa Louie When Pizzas Attack, and this, I think that was made in 2006, and this is what I was talking about earlier. This was on Cool Math Games as well. I think it's still on there, and instead of being a game where you're taking orders and you're clicking and you're making orders and you're serving it to the customer and then they give you a rating, like a simple game like that, you're fighting these like pizza monsters, and it's more up my alley. Yeah, it's very interactive, and it's not just like sitting there and clicking. You get to move around and try and beat these pizza guys. But I really like this one, and I'm gonna give it an A tier, even though it sounds like I don't remember it much. I remember playing this a lot. I must have played it on the family computer. I must have played it at school as well, because it was on Cool Math Games, so it was very easy to access. And if I remember, I think our teachers would even let us play cool math games when we would finish our work. I think even in elementary school. But we'll move on to the next one, which is Plants vs. Zombies, which they had an app. I don't know if they still have like an app for your iPhone or Android, but they also had it like on the computer where you had to buy it and download it. I believe you had to buy it because I don't think I played it on the PC. I think I had a childhood friend that did, because I remember playing it with her on her computer, and I think she even beat it while I was over there, because there's a bunch of different levels. And I remember the ending, because when you beat the big giant zombie, there's like a little dance and music video with the sunflowers. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll show pictures, but it's a really cool game. The graphics are really cool. I was really into this though, so I think I did play it on my phone, or at the time it was an iPod. I think I played it on my iPod a lot. All the little plants and things are so cute, and I would make them out of Palmer clay, which my first Palmer clay era was when I was like 8. So I remember making, or trying to make, pea shooter plants out of Palmer clay, and I probably did a horrible job at it. But I remember going to my friends and getting to play it on her computer, because I don't think we would like buy games like that, because I always wanted to play Minecraft, but not just from my phone. Like, I wanted to buy it on the computer so that I could play like Hunger Games and all those games where you could play with real people, because I would watch YouTubers who would do that. I just remember the Hunger Games was a big one that people would play, because there was like servers or whatever where you could play in Minecraft. So I never was able to buy games like that. But that one I'm gonna have to give an A tier, because it's so well designed. As the levels go up, you get access to more plants. They all have like their own purpose. It's just really cool. I like it, and the ending is really cool if you don't crash out before you get there. I don't know if I beat the game myself, probably not. I think it was really hard too. But yeah, also I remember making the Palmer clay things out of that, so I must have really liked that game. And the Palmer clay was a big part of my childhood too, and watching Palmer clay YouTubers do charm updates, if you remember those. So it's two good memories in one, and I'll give it an A tier because it's not Club Penguin. Okay, my phone probably is gonna die. I have 3 more though. I have Pet Pet Park. Pet Pet Park is like one of my favorites, even though I don't have that many memories of it. I searched so long to find this game. I had like these memories come up like a couple years ago, and I remembered playing this game with like these animals, and I think you could harvest. I remember there was like a Halloween version, and I just could not find it. I would keep searching up keywords and trying to describe what I remembered, but because I remembered so little, it was hard to like have anything even come up. But I remember finding a Reddit post one day where someone said the words Pet Pet Park, and immediately like that sent me right back, and that I knew right then and there that was the game. My mic died, so I'm gonna carry on. So I finished up with talking about how I found Pet Pet Park from like looking on Reddit, and Pet Pet Park is like part of the Neopets world, and like Neopets created it, but I don't think I ever played Neopets. And Pet Pet Park I might have played only for a couple months. It was created in 2008 and ran up until 2014, which is, that's quite a while actually, and I definitely didn't play, that long. I probably found it around like 2010 or something like that, and I played during Halloween for sure, because I remember they were having like the Halloween event, kind of like Club Penguin would do. I think Animal Jam did that too. So it was a quest-based game, but like Club Penguin, you could also chat with people, and unlike Poptropica, you didn't just choose from like automated questions and answers. So there would be like NPCs, kind of like RuneScape, honestly. I don't know why, but I feel like RuneScape is one of the first games I remember just since being conscious. Like, I just remember there being like the NPCs that talk to you, so that's why I referenced that. But there's like the NPC pets, and I think some of them are kind of in like costumes, and you'll get like the little info screens with their faces, with their icons, you know, sending you a message or telling you what to do. And I think they needed things for like a cauldron. Like, I'm not sure if you would go find potions or it involved potions of some kind, because I remember being in like some kind of swampy map, maybe like a, I don't know if it was a cemetery, probably like a bog of some sort, and I remember looking for things. So you may have looked for things to put in the witch's cauldron to make a potion. That might have been one of the quests. I remember that very deeply. Other than that, it's very blurry. I think I played before or after Halloween, because I remember just playing normally. I think there might have been something to do with harvesting, which I remember playing this one app on my iPod, this farming game. Oh, I can't remember what that was, but I did have my little farming moment, and I think Pet Park had that aspect woven in. I may be wrong, but I do know that there are like vegetable fields and farming fields, because when I was looking up Pet Park, I saw like a screen grab that showed that. But yeah, I don't remember that much. I remember the Halloween like quest that I was doing, and I think you can just walk around if you want, and I'm not sure if they had like a houses. That's one thing I don't remember. Kind of like Webkinz, I just don't really remember that. But it was definitely different than a Poptropica type game, because it wasn't primarily quest based. I did look up Webkinz again, and if you wanted to play for free, I think you could only choose between a cat and a dog, kind of like in Club Penguin, where if you want puffles, you can only have 2 puffles, and you can only have the red or the blue, or there was like special events where you could get like a rainbow puffle for free without the membership. Next is Kid Pix, which isn't really, I don't think that's a flash game. It's not really a game, it's more like a kids activity. It's set up like a notepad or a drawing pad, and on the sidebar you have, or I guess sidebars, you have all these tools and paints and brushes, I believe. And it was just really fun things that came with fun sounds as well and fun graphics. So I remember there was a balloon tool, so if you clicked on it and you swiped it across the screen, there would be balloons all over. I think that had a fun sound, if I can play that here. And I think there was like some kind of spray paint tool, or like a metallic-y, gloopy paint tool. I feel like there was something like that that made a sound that I'm trying to remember. There was one that would erase all of your work, and it was like a bomb where you would blow up the screen, and it had like a kind of like an optical illusion graphic. But Kid Pix came out in 1989, so my viewers range in all different ages, so that's probably going to be the game that people remember the most, even though again it's not like a game. But I remember playing Kid Pix in elementary school after we had to do the typing, kind of like we did with cool math games. It was just so fun, because it's not something that would rot our brains, and it was like an outlet to be creative and after stress, which yes, even in elementary school you can be stressed, but after, you know, a stressful day, or if you have a stressful home life, you could come to school, get work done, but then you could play on Kid Pix and draw and make stupid things on the drawing pad. And I don't know if they still have that. If they don't, they need to bring it back, because that is something this world needs. We need creativity, and I think that is so good for kids, especially since like kids all have these little devices. We need to be simpler for them and have something like that as like a break, especially in school, which in school, you know, I'm sure they stare at a lot of screens anyway, especially if schools have switched to screens. So to have that, which is more simple, it's just you drawing, doodling, even if you're like doing something stupid on it. I think it has a good impact, because I mean, I'm an artist today, And would I be where I am if not for Kid Pics? We'll never know. But last but not least, is Fireboy and Watergirl, which I think is very popular. I don't know how long this was around for. I'm not sure if it came out in like 2006 or 2008, but this is the one with the music, kind of like it's like a temple-y sounding music, almost like maybe like an Indiana Jones type beat, I don't know, but there's like a water girl character that's blue and the Fireboy character that's red, and you can only play this game with 2 players from what I remember. So you can't play it alone because it's interactive, there's teamwork involved. So I remember playing this game with my sisters and I think even my cousins, and that damn family computer would be on during the holidays. I remember we'd have like 40 people over, we'd have all of our family and extended family over for Christmas, and we'd be playing on that damn computer, and we were probably playing this game because there was teamwork involved, and yeah, you needed to help each other complete some obstacles, and it's a game with a bunch of levels. I'm not sure what happens if you complete all the levels, if anything happens, but it is repetitive. So I'm going to give it a C tier because it's average. But I don't think I gave Pet Park or Kid Pics, I don't think I gave them a tier ranking. If I didn't say this already, Pet Park is an S tier, even though I don't remember that much. I remember loving this game and being so invested in it. Like no other game did this for me. I just remember that feeling, other than Club Penguin, because I love Club Penguin. And then I'm going to give Kid Pics an S tier, just because it is so iconic, and it's so iconic for so many different people. You know, whether you're in my generation or the generation before me, I have to give Kid Pics an S tier, even if it's not considered a game. I don't care. So Fireboy and Watergirl, it's gonna get a C tier, just because it's kind of like Animal Jam, where it has kind of like a darker vibe. Like it's not that colorful, or if you were doing really good but the person you were playing with was doing bad, it's like, okay, well, you have to both be on the same level. And there was another Club Penguin game that would really make me mad. Which one was it? Puffle Roundup. I forgot to mention this. Puffle Roundup, that is like a really simple game. You would just like click on these puffles and try and get them into like a little, I don't know what you would call it. You know, when you round up animals into a pen, you would try and round the puffles up into a pen, but all you would do is like click around them, and it was so annoying. I remember getting mad at that game because they would make these stupid silly noises and they would just run wherever they wanted, and there was so many of them, and the only goal was to get them in this pen. But yeah, Fireboy and Watergirl, it's not bad. I still remember that being a big part of my childhood. We'd always go back to that game. But of course, Club Penguin, Kid Pics, and Pet Park. And did I put Papa Louie When Pizzas Attack on the S tier? I think I did. If not, I still love that game. But all of those games they're deserving in my book. If you think otherwise, let me know. If you remember playing these games, let me know a memory down below. If you want to bring up a different game that I didn't mention, let me know. And if anyone loved playing the little farming games around the iPod era, not the iPod, the mini iPods, but like the iPod Touch era, probably around 2010, 2011, 2012. If anyone knows of like the different farming games, let me know, because I'm sure if I hear the name of it, I'll remember, but there was one in particular that I loved. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video despite all of the issues, the technological issues and the lighting issues, and I hope you guys have a good day or night. Bye.